Okay, before we do 116, we're going to add two complex numbers. But before I add two complex numbers, let's remember a couple things. A complex number consists of two parts. There's the real part of the number, and there's the imaginary. Okay? Now, usually it's written in the form a plus or minus bi. Okay? Now, if I look at this, oh, one last thing. Remember that I is equal to negative. The reason we have imaginary numbers is that I is equal to the square root of negative 1. Okay? So I have two numbers. I have this one plus this one. Well, I have 5, which is the real part, minus I, which is the imaginary part. And then over here, I have a 6, which is the real part, minus negative 6, which is the imaginary part. And so you say, well, how is the square root of negative 6 the imaginary part? Well, let's think about it. This is the same as the square root of negative 1 times the square root of negative 6. So that would be the same as the square root of 6 times I, right? Because this is equal to I, although we always write the I in the back end. Okay, so this is minus the square root of 6i. And everything else is kind of the same. So I'm going to have my 5 here and my 6 here. So when I go to add these, I am going to add the reals, 5 plus 6, okay. Then I'm going to add the imaginaries, which is negative 1i minus the square root of 6i. Now to clean that up, I might pull out the i's. If I pull out the i's, I get negative 1 minus the square root of 6 times I plus 11. Now, if you notice on my solutions, none of these have a negative 1 or a negative thing. So what I could do is I could pull out the negative 1 as well. So if I toss this negative to the front, I get negative positive 1 plus the square root of 6 times I, and then we have 11 here. So I could say that this is my answer, 11 minus positive 1 plus the square root of 6 times I, which would be C, which is correct.